Welcome back to Casual Adult Coffee. As always, I'm the fabulous Alicia, and I've got with me
Average Corey.
So I guess we're going to discuss divorce and breakups. Something all of us have been through.
Or most of us.
Yeah.
That being said, my cousin, her and her husband got married right out of high school. And right out of high school, and have been married 25, 26 years since, and impressive for them. So they are the anomaly.
Yeah, they're the exception. My parents were the same way. They dated in high school, got married out of high school, were together until my dad passed away. I think they were days away from celebrating 40 years together, 40 years married.
Statistically, they say that 50% of marriages end in divorce. My joke is that the other 50 end in death. So, I mean, I think divorce is better than death, but maybe that's me.
It depends on how the death happens.
Agreed.
You know, like if I murdered my husband in his sleep because he's snoring, no, that's probably not the death that we want on the statistics.
No, but that's the other, like, for the most part, how many people do you know get married right out of high school and stay in that relationship forever? We can logically assume that by our age range, late 30s, early 40s, that most people have had one breakup or another. And I find the initial reaction to a breakup is, of course, pain. There's anger, pain, your basic stages
of grief. Because you are mourning the end of something. You know, whether it be a year together or 20 years together, you're still mourning the end of
of an image.
Yeah. And a lifestyle in a lot of ways.
I have to look. There was a couple breakups that happened to me that one of them absolutely crushed me, and I will own it, whatever the phrase is. She broke me in a way that I can barely put it into words. Like, it was looking back at it, it's embarrassing how poorly I responded to it. But now, with the benefit of hindsight and growth and personal development, I can look at it and say that it isn't what I needed in my life. It was what I needed then. And that said, like we were saying, I think the most important thing about a breakup is recognizing what you have learned from it. Everybody gets burned. It's the same as, like, as soon as you learn to ride a bike, you're going to fall off that bike.
Yes, as soon as you start dating, you are going to get dumped or be the dumper.
Yeah,
there's
no way around that.
But if you take to Facebook, or you start slandering your ex in front of the children, or any of that sort of stuff, I think that speaks more about you than it does about the other person, no matter what you're saying, posting, etc.
And exactly, even if you're in the right, it doesn't make you look any better. It's a passive aggressive dig, and it just makes you look childish.
Yeah, you know, like, there's something to be said about holding your head high.
That being said, there's a handful of times, and I have to admit that I've said or done a few rotten things. And
What? You're not an angel?
Turns out. There was one or two times that I almost, like, wanted to tell her, I'm like, some recognition that I made an effort to, like, not suck. I took the brunt of the blame, and I just wanted, like, a little bit of recognition to say thank you for that.
Yeah,
but you'll never get it. And then
I think I have exes that I'm friends with.
Oh, me too.
And I've gotten that recognition from them. You know, you were an amazing girlfriend. We just weren't for each other. And all right, well, thank you. You know, and those are the people that you can say to them, what could I have done differently, or where do I need personal growth in order to be a better girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, to the person that I'm going to be with.
You'll make someone a very excellent husband.
I know.
Well, and that's, yes, going back at it with, I mean, hindsight is 2020, and I can see a handful of the joke that I tell a person is that if a mistake happens 3 times, there's an underlying cause to it. It's, if, for example, let's say I break up with one girl because she was, for the sake of argument, of course, every guy says they're crazy.
Oh yeah, we're all crazy. Crazy bitches.
That's implied. So, assuming that the next one, if you break up with the second girl and what do you tell your friends? Oh yeah, she was crazy. Well, then you go, well, what's making her crazy, or is it the same crazy?
Yeah, am I attracting the same crazy? So what is it about me that I need to adjust,
Mm-hmm.
grow, or, you never have to change yourself for your relationship. No, but you do need to grow to become a better you. Well, so if you're attracting the same thing over and over again, if I'm attracting guys that are constantly putting me down,
mm-hmm.
Okay, why? Why am I attracting these people? What do I need to look in on myself about?
Well, and that's, I have to admit, like a friend of mine, I jokingly asked her, I say jokingly, but at the same time it was serious, because I noticed a flaw that I was always having a bad relationship. Not bad as in she beats me or something like that, but it was bad as in that I wasn't finding the one. So I jokingly said to her, why am I single? And she gave me the answer, which was quite the punch in the gut, but at the same time, she knows who she is, and I've thanked her for that speech. It was one that it hurt incredible, but I needed to hear it. And then knowing it, I recognize I've duplicated the mistake a couple times since then, but that's part of my growth, is now I know what I'm doing. And like I said, if a mistake happens the 3rd time, you go, okay, here is what I'm doing to cause it.
Yeah.
And too many people if you look at a breakup like a car accident, if every time I turn left I have an accident, I can, by the 3rd time I turn left, I should say, I'm not looking to oncoming traffic.
Pardon me, excuse me.
And that's, I think, too many people just go, well, oncoming traffic should be looking for me. Instead of going, well, it's just as much my responsibility. In a car, people accept responsibility, but too many people in a relationship go,
it was all the other person. I was perfect, I'm great. No, I know that I have some trust issues, and I know that I have some baggage that goes with those. And
I think they're called children.
No, they're not baggage yet because I'm married. Right. If I get divorced, then they are baggage.
I love that you said, yeah. That'll be a secret little dig to the cameraman.
I always tease him that he makes a good first husband.
A friend of mine used to joke with his wife, and he'd say, he would buy a lottery ticket and he would say, you'll make someone a beautiful ex-wife.
But I think that's part of a healthy relationship, is the fact that I can't tease him like that. When the day before we got married, my dad put his arm around him and said to him, so this is your last wedding, right? Because he's been married before.
And I love to think that most of us enter a relationship hoping it's the last time, not hoping that they don't have to do the breakup again. And the beauty of a breakup is that you know what you want, you've learned from it, and you can hopefully fine-tune your own process so that you're not, if you keep stubbing your toe on the end table, you don't go, I should walk into it one more time.
The end table needs to move itself.
Exactly. You either move the end table or you adjust your own path to compensate for it. And too many people, or that's the best part of a breakup, is that you're like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right?
What did I like? What did I dislike?
Mm-hmm. And that's, I have to admit, there's been a handful of times that I'm like, when it first happened, I was like, everybody made a joke here, like, well, you have to put your dick in crazy once. And dick in crazy, it was awesome. It was like, like filthy deviant. You could write a Dear Penthouse. I never thought this happened to guys like me, but it was amazing. And then at the same time, the sun would come up, and you're like, "Oh Jesus, it's all coming down."
Yeah, I definitely had adventures in my youth that involved the male version of crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fun. But if I keep going for that and then wondering why I'm not married and happily ever after, whatever your happily ever after is, that's on me at that point.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean,
like
everybody deserves some life experience, and that's where the breakup aspect of it is.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be ugly. Like,
at the same time, I mean, there's some that you recognize you're like, we shouldn't have been a couple to begin with.
Oh yeah.
And some that you're like, you know what, this girl's an awesome friend. I don't see a problem maintaining a conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some that, and then sometimes the reason of the breakup, cheating, on my own side, is that she and I can barely maintain a conversation anymore. Thank God I have to pick up a child. It does make it more difficult, and it's I'll own up to that flaw. And it's we might have a guest star in a minute.
Pussy in the shot.
The not every breakup is perfect.
No, but how you conduct yourself after said breakup dictates a lot.
Right.
Coming back to, you know, are you running around telling everybody that'll listen how they were such a horrible person and yada 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 yada? You know, no, keep your laundry in the laundry room.
Right.
You know, and I think that speaks volumes for me when I was looking at dating somebody, was how they spoke about their ex. You can hate that person with every ounce of your being, but that doesn't mean that you talk like that to everybody that'll listen.
For sure.
That I think speaks more about you than it does about your ex.
And then that's actually a strong point for us to end on, is how would you hold yourself? I mean, hold yourself accountable for what you've done. I mean, if you, as soon as you break up, that you decide that I have to tell every single human being who will listen that this person wronged me, because you know at the same time, every person is wondering, what did you do to them?
Yeah, there's always two sides to every story. You know, and this is with the exception of abuse.
Right.
You know, but yeah, there's two sides to every story. There's two sides to every breakup.
Mm-hmm.
And incompatibility is not a terrible thing. You know, that's how you find the person you're compatible with.
So?
That's how you find your cameraman.
Not mine. Or camera person, you sexist turd.
No, I was talking about my cameraman.
All right. So that's how we can end it on there. Leave comments and posts or what have you on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel down below.
Let us know how you had a good breakup.
Best breakup, best friends, terrible breakups. We've all had one of those. Ooh. Feel free to make whatever post you like.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep. See you next time.